this video, I'd like to discuss briefly my observation on political operatives or consultants who become celebrities. And once they become a celebrity, they take on a whole new public persona. So political parties, candidates, and elites wielding power utilize political hacks / consultants to promote their agenda. The phenomenon is a fixture in our society. The elites using some of these hacks is so integral to their overall presentation of their agenda that we may not take the time to focus on the insidiousness of the hacks' tactics. In fact, some tactics strike such a strong chord with the media and the public, it elevates them to a celebrity status. Such examples include the late Lee Atwater, Ed Rollins, Donna Brazile, Dick Morris, Karl Rove, but I doubt any of them carries the brand of political hack come celebrity more so than James Carville. Make no mistake, James Carville, being a celebrity political operative for the Dem side of a two-party oligarchy that runs the U.S., he's definitely a hack par excellence, in my view. Sure, one may lose sight of Carville's hack status, given his being highly paid as a consultant in many campaigns, and his many TV appearances during which he serves up rhetorical mixes of hypocrisy, stupidity, regardless of whether it's feigned for entertainment or a true expression of his true self, and a sycophant fealty to his party's cause du jour. Carville's fealty was on full display recently while appearing on MSNBC to share his analysis of the Democratic Party results in Nevada. Yes, the Dems establishment, they definitely deflated the Bernie bubble on Super Tuesday, but the hack's hypocrisy still remains, and it's still worth reviewing. So in Nevada, which is a distant memory now given the groundswell of support and resounding victory that Joseph Biden got on Super Tuesday, just a couple weeks ago, though, James Carville and company were very distraught over Sanders winning in Nevada and what they feared portended for the future. Sanders definitely was the wrong candidate in their eyes. Why was he the wrongful winner? Well, they can't stop reminding everybody that Sanders is a Democratic socialist. Even when someone mentions Sanders' name, they always preface their comments with the Democratic socialist. Pundits often don't preface Elizabeth Warren or Joseph Biden as corporate Democrats. Why not? Instead, they often use the more benign modifier, centrist. So if you listen to Carville, the Nevada voters favoring Sanders is most harmful because he is the candidate most pleasing to Putin. Now, I don't know who Putin prefers among the field of the Democrats, especially in this primary election. I'm sure he would prefer Sanders, just in my own opinion, as opposed to Biden or any of the others that have recently dropped out. But my concern here is the lack of introspection shown by Carville's hypocrisy by dismissing Sanders' win in Nevada is mostly a win for Putin. The elites in both major parties share this obsession about Putin. The Dems showcase their pervasive obsession by conflating Putin's alleged actions with whatever outcomes they deem undesirable. Trump's win, for example, in 2016 was such an undesirable outcome. Of course, he did win within this mindset because Putin's army of digital bots hacked Hillary's emails and posted them for the public to see. Moving forward, another undesirable outcome, obviously, was Bernie's 2020 win in the Nevada primary that revealed Putin's continued subversion of U.S. democracy. Members of Congress were given intelligence briefings that warned of Putin's interfering in the 2020 election cycle. So the Putin is puppet master meme provides both parties an excuse to avoid scrutinizing their own failures to create a platform that resonates, or message that resonates with the American people. For now, I just want to focus on Carville's hypocrisy. Carville's hypocrisy can, I think, be generally divided into two parts. First, his paid consultancy as candidates running domestically and abroad, and more specifically the U.S. funding of opposition candidates in Russia. Now, he himself is not personally involved in that, but because the U.S. government does create what they call democracy promotion movements with taxpayer money that ultimately funds certain opponents in Russia, and Putin has to contend with that. Carville doesn't seem to be any hypocrisy there, and waving to him on TV that he's praising a Sanders win, while at the same time the United States is paying opposition movements to set up shop in other countries, particularly Russia. Now, the relative merits of the foreign candidates whom Carville advised is not my focus here. Rather, I'm pointing out Carville's hypocrisy in consulting foreign candidates while implying that Sanders winning the Democratic nomination would signal a Putin subversion of U.S. elections. Carville's career spans the globe of nations whereon he has consulted various candidates. For example, Ernesto Zedillo of Mexico, Enrico Cardozo of Brazil, Juan Manuel Santos of Colombia, who notably his tenure as Minister of Defense is marred with allegations of the Colombian military murdering civilians who were labeled conveniently as rebels. Moreover, Carville's most famous client, Bill Clinton, showed no qualms in using his power to take actions that were arguably not in the best interest of the Colombian people. Quote, as president, Carville's paymaster Bill Clinton supported the Colombian elite to the hilt by supporting Plan Colombia and a $1.3 billion aid package to the Andean nation, which waived human rights conditions, end quote. And I will include a link to that source at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so Putin allegedly favoring Sanders is subversive of the Dems' primary election, but does Carville consult candidates in foreign nations that have verifiable track records of improving both human rights and workers' rights? I don't think so. The list of foreign candidates is longer, which includes in Argentina, Domingo Cavallo, in Panama, Ernesto Perez Balderas, who is a former Citibank CEO, who as president sold off state assets and weakened labor laws in order to attract foreign investment. So Carville's career shows a consistent involvement in elections of candidates whose constituency is primarily global capital and global banks. So has Carville reevaluated his clients' relative commitments to their people? His public relations and public actions show that Carville prefers making spectacles on CNN, MSNBC, performing comic relief to articulate, at least for now, the anti-Putin hysteria. In the United States, there's a non-governmental organization referred to as the National Endowment for Democracy. They were created by an act of the U.S. Congress in 1983. They do distribute money to democracy promotion groups. Now, the NED does receive roughly $100 million from Congress annually. Such a funding level casts doubt that the NED effectively operates as a non-governmental organization, in my view. Now, Alan Weinstein, who was one of the individuals responsible for drafting the legislation that essentially Congress passed, creating the NED, he said, and I'm going to quote in the interview that he had given to the Washington Post in 1992, quote, Alan Weinstein, who helped draft the legislation establishing NED, declared in 1991, a lot of what we do today was done covertly 25 years ago by the CIA. So, end quote. That's pretty straightforward. You might wonder why Carville wouldn't he be concerned about the U.S. funding organizations that promote opposition in foreign countries, undertaking tasks that the CIA of all organizations used to do up until maybe 1 to 2 generations ago. So why is the NED and its mission relevant? Well, the NED is, as I said, funded anti-Putin groups. For example, the NED provided funds to Golos, which is a well-known opposition group to Putin. And I'm also providing a link at the bottom of this video that shows a screenshot of the page on NED's website, wherein they disclosed funding to Golos. So by inference, the U.S. is funding your taxpayer money is being used to fund opposition movements in Russia. I'm not sure that's a wise use of taxpayer money. So I won't weigh in too much on the relative merits of NED's funding of Golos, except just to ask, is it appropriate for the NED to fund opposition groups in Russia, or any other nation for that matter? Well, Russia answered emphatically no. In 2015, Russia banned the NED to operate in Russia. Given the mainstream media and the elite's obsessive repeating that Putin hacked the 2016 U.S. election, they should introspectively review their establishment's actions, as shown by the NED. And regardless of their party affiliation, the establishment has shown mostly a uniform obsession with repeating Putin's 2016 alleged hack. And for 2020, the U.S. intelligence community has debriefed the U.S. Congress about evidence suggesting Putin is meddling once again. So Carville and the elites for whom he serves as one of their unfiltered and at times unhinged TV sages should be held accountable for their hypocrisy. But they won't, because they are first and foremost not truth seekers, but societal conditioners.
Thank you for watching my video, and my name is Romalet of Fil-Am World Magazine. I will see you again on my next video, so please don't forget to hit subscribe, okay? So you have a wonderful day.